All right.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Pixel Venture podcast. I'm Korey.
And I'm Jake.
And I have a cat on my lap. Emmy, do you want to say hi? Oh, she's being quiet now. Give her 2 minutes though. Jesus.
And
Anyways.
That's the episode. See
No,
you
it isn't.
next week.
Yeah. Thank you for the views because my cat was here. Isn't that right, Em? Yeah. Anyways, oh, she's tickling me. Okay, I want to put her down now. Go down and... Oh, there she goes. Anyways, so between this and last episode, we've done quite a few things.
Yeah.
And one of those things is, we've been messing around with a program called Parsec. And if you don't know what Parsec is, it's like a desktop-based program that lets you share your screen with another person, which, I mean, there's a lot of screen share type software out there, but this also allows for direct input, which in turn allows you to play games that are normally local co-op games with someone else. And we've tested 2 games with this software, Gungeon, which we've talked about to death already, and Overcooked. This was our first experience with playing Overcooked. You'll see some footage that we're actually recording after the fact of a few levels that we liked. But, Jake, how do you feel about the game? Like, what's your hot take initially?
Ah, a rat.
God damn it. Like, okay, so context. There's a level, there's probably more in the game, but there's one level in particular where these rats are trying to steal your ingredients, and the sound effect for when you like hit a rat to get rid of it is just the sound of like a wet slap, just like that. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because it's just like, no, don't get the tomatoes. Like,
I'd say my hot take on it is, it's basically, what's it called? Gang Beasts, except cooking.
Well, I feel like with Gang Beasts, there's a few more, control options with the actual option to, like, lift your arms and jump and things like that.
But it's the very similar, like, silly, like, competitive sort of, except, like, instead of it being against the other players, you're kind of fighting against the objective. But it's a very similar, like, purely comedic, like, not at all taking itself seriously, just, like, fuck around game.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way to put it. The reason I was like, oh, it's not anything like it is because, I mean, 2 very different games, 2 very different control schemes, but, like, when you look at this game, the control scheme itself, I guess we should mention, it's literally only 3 things. You move, you pick things up, and you interact. There's also a dash button, but that's not as important in early levels. But pretty much you're just trying to make orders, get them out on time, and keep the kitchen not, like, on fire.
Yeah.
Which we failed at.
Yeah, because, we were going back and forth between trucks that you have limited access to, and someone was making soup and then left the truck.
Well, I'm sorry you weren't fucking cutting the shit.
I was. You had your own.
And then you body checked me off an iceberg, and that really didn't help the morale.
That was a different level. That was
intentional.
It wasn't intentional.
There was intent. I felt it.
There was no intent. You only felt me.
You wanted the fish sticks. I had the fish sticks. You wanted them for yourself. Fuck you.
So
you hurt a disabled raccoon.
Wait, what? Oh.
The raccoon's in a wheelchair.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we love the game. And have no bitter feelings towards the ice levels.
Okay, hey, you know what? Here's a hot take that a lot of people will understand. Ice levels are ass, no matter where you put them in any game. I hate them. I hate anything involving ice and snow in video games, because, like, there's only very small amount of games that have done it and made me have fun with it. Most games are just like, oh, hey, let's completely fuck with the physics that you're used to as some kind of challenge, but really it's just frustrating because then you go back to like the normal physics and you're having a hard time adjusting back to it, and it's just such a big mess. My cat's walking up to me because she can see I'm upset. Emmy, I don't need this right now. I love you, but I don't need this right now.
What about stick fight?
Stick fight? Okay, stick fight is inherently goofy. It has a goofy like control scheme. Like even on normal like ground and everything, your character's hard to control. Like that's just a built-in thing of the game of just your character flailing around.
But Overcooked is goofy.
It's just because it's a goofy game doesn't mean that it gets a pass for having ass physics.
Actually, there aren't ass physics. None of the characters have asses.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah, no, I mean,
raccoon?
yours is in a wheelchair. It has no ass.
Yeah, you don't know that, though. That's the secret.
Yeah, I do. I've checked.
That's a secret, Jake.
Yeah?
That's inappropriate.
So yeah, that was our hot take on the game. Unless you have something else to add, because we haven't gotten, like, particularly far in it, I feel like.
Yeah, we're only on World 3, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
like, as much as I'm bitter about icebergs and that kind of physics, I've enjoyed the game a lot. I think that it's that right amount of frantic that you'd want in these sort of, like, co-op games. Because I've played, like, you know, Diner Dash and, like, a bunch of those, like online games where you have to like serve food and put things together. Like I remember there was this, I think it was a Flash game made for the show Chowder on Cartoon Network, where you're literally just like making different like meals and stuff for the different characters. Then there was also one for back when Toon Disney was a thing. They had this like animation block where it's supposed to be like a bunch of different Disney characters all go into a theater and there's like a plot or something among that. I know Mortimer Mouse came from that, I think. But they had a game where like it started with like a parking simulator, but then after that you had to make orders for all the characters. And for whatever reason, I've always enjoyed those games. So it kind of felt natural having that like franticness of, oh, you got to get these ingredients together, put them on the plate, get it out to the character or whatever. Like, it kind of translated to that, but the thing is that, unlike those games where it's, like, point-and-click kind of stuff, you have direct control of the chef. Like, it's... I play with a controller. It's analog stick and the face buttons. Like, that's all you need.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that is enough to add a significant challenge, because usually you're able to pinpoint, like, okay, go there, now there, now there, now there. Like, and the speed is almost instant. Whereas with actually controlling the character, you have to take into account the time that it would take to run over to wash a dish and then go back into the fryer in time. Like, you need to pace things out. And I think that adds a healthy level of difficulty to the game.
Yeah.
Ice makes it bullshit, but I think everything else is very well balanced.
Yeah. I mean, I find it interesting that you hate ice physics because you can't really, like, control your character as much, but you love being in ball pits where you fall around everywhere.
We need you!
I was told to record.
You bitch!
Yeah, dude.
Get in! Alright, Jake, you need to hit a button!
No, I don't.
Button, you
No, I
prick!
don't.
Gosh! Yeah, no, there's one lit there, there's one lit down here! Jake, get your ass in here.
Nah, dude.
Oh
You told me to record,
Jake!
dude.
No, I can do it. You mother... Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, these are lit now! Get him! Get him! Get your ass in here. Get over!
No, dude.
Get over! Jake, actually... Jake!
Oh my god. That's your segue?
Yeah.
That's the segue.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Bodeborg to the end. But here we are.
I don't remember agreeing to that.
Here we are, 9 minutes into the podcast, resorting to number 2.
I mean, what did you have other things to talk about the game? We talked about
No,
yeah?
this is fine. This is fine.
You know what? That tone of voice makes it sound like it's not fine. And that's
No,
why this is the
I'm
final
trying-
episode of the
Jake.
podcast. It's been nice hosting it for 3 years.
It's been nice ignoring our upload schedule for 3 years.
Yeah.
For the like 2 people on SoundCloud who followed us here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble. Year 3.
Yeah. Has it been 3 years? Is it 3 or 2?
It's close.
Oh.
It has to be close because I remember we tried to start it like towards the end of senior year, didn't we?
Yeah, like I remember we tried to start it around senior year, but I like don't remember like doing anything during our first year of college, which made me kind of like back up a little bit.
Well, yeah, we took that big ass break, and then we were like, wait, we had a podcast once, and then we were like, let's make it on YouTube. Then we didn't make any assets, and then I was like, I'll just do it in MS Paint, and now we're here we are.
Yep.
We got a couple subscribers under our belts. PewDiePie, watch out.
Yeah, PewDiePie, Pyrocynical,
Anyone who has 20 subs, watch out.
Markiplier, watch out. We're gonna be the biggest charity live stream.
Yeah, I'll donate $2, and then we'll inflate it by exchanging it into ruples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a Iraqi dinar.
Wait, are ruples still like virtually worthless? Like, cause I remember there was like that whole thing. Was it Russia or was it another country where it was like literally $10, like $10 in ruples would be like a wheelbarrow? Or was that like a different company? Was that Germany?
Well, Germany's currency was like that after the World Wars because they like couldn't do anything, but like it's kind of fixed now.
Yeah, they completely erased their debt.
All I remember is Iraqi dinar is 1,000 dinar per dollar, and that the gold in World of Warcraft is worth more than Venezuelan currency.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense with supply and demand type stuff, you know?
Because
like having
in WoW you can purchase tokens. Just to like explain the process, you can purchase these in-game tokens that give you game time, and they're worth $15. But you can also do is when you buy the tokens with money, you can sell them on the in-game auction house for gold. So you can equate those tokens that you buy with dollars to gold. So with that, and then comparing the price of gold for a token and comparing $15 in Venezuelan currency, you can work out that World of Warcraft gold is worth more than Venezuelan currency.
That's honestly super impressive. Like, while I'm not huge when it comes to like math and stuff like that, usually equations like fly over my head. One of my favorite things to do is to look at those like crazy connections that people make through math, like you said, like having like Warcraft gold be worth more than Venezuelan currency.
Yeah.
There was one that I liked a lot where it was comparing the size of like just the normal world in Minecraft to the size of like our solar system.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's like massive. Like, I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm good at getting sidetracked. Let's talk about Bodeborg.
Yeah.
So Bodeborg, for those who are uneducated, is kind of, I guess, like a mini game collection of escape rooms.
Yeah.
I'll try to get a better explanation here. So you pay for either a specific amount of time or do what we do, which is an unlimited pass, and you just go around, and there's like a bunch of different rooms that are all themed around different things. Like there's pirates, the Sphinx for like Egypt. You have access granted or access denied, which is themed around like computer hacking. And then you have like potions, which is like alchemy. And each of these rooms, at the very end of them, and they're usually 2 to 3 to 4 rooms, I believe.
Yeah, like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and at the end of them, there's a stamp box where you have to unlock it and you stamp this card. And if you can get all of the stamps in one like run, which apparently you have to do in 4 hours, I believe is the rule, you can become a quest master, get a picture in the lobby, and then you get some other thing. I forget exactly what it is, but I know in my lifetime I will never get that because Super Banon will always be there.
Yeah.
Which, to explain why that one's difficult is, so the rooms are split into 3 categories. There are physical challenges, mental challenges, and then the hybrids. Hybrids require physical movement and thinking. So, for example, in, say, like, well, I could talk about this puzzle because this was actually discontinued, which makes me very upset. There was a puzzle called Infra, which is a green door puzzle, which means purely mental. And there was this one room where there are these lights on a wall that you can only see through a specific camera, and you have to cover them. And you have to just figure it out. Like, when you get into the room, you're just like, okay, what do I do? That's why I call it like a mini game type thing, because unlike a traditional escape room, you're not in just one room with like a ton of objects and you're trying to figure out how things go into each other. It's one small puzzle, you move on, and then you solve the next one in the next room, which may or may not continue from the previous room. There are some that do that. We will mention the specific example in a moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless there's something that I'm missing, Jake.
No, not particularly. Something I feel like from what I've seen of like the people like walking around in the halls of the place, it seems like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like there are a lot of kids that go there, probably just because like it's kind of like a big glorified like playground in a way.
Yeah.
But like there's plenty of like adults that go there too, and like they're there to like exercise in the more physical challenges.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just fun. Because it's like, you know, you feel like you're accomplishing these goals by getting the stamps and stuff. And then there's that social aspect of people being like, can you give me a hint on this room? How do you get through this room?
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I enjoy a lot about the structure of Bodeborg is none of the employees will flat out tell you how to answer. They will guide you on the right track, but they won't tell you exactly what to do.
And some of them won't tell you because they can't tell you because they haven't completed it themselves.
Yeah, they can only give hints on rooms that they've completed.
Yeah, because instead of like giving away the answers to the employees and like kind of ruining how they would give hints to the participants, they like make their employees have to like complete the rooms on their own time so that way they can know what kinds of hints to give.
Yeah, and that's why like the nature of trial and error is so important in Bodeborg.
Mm-hmm.
Like this will kind of go into, I guess, the main reason why we went back, because we've gone here or there a lot in the past. Like I remember we've done I've done 3 times, including this one. And each time has been a bit of a different experience, but the main reason we were back this time is because of one room. Or one puzzle. That one's called Potions. And I don't want to explain any of the bits of the puzzle, because I feel like if anyone wants to go, we'll put a link to Bodeborg's website in the description for anyone who's interested in looking at what exactly it is or seeing if they want to book something, which I highly recommend. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And because of that, I don't want to give away any spoilers. I don't want to do anything like that. But I will say that Potions is probably the smartest room that they have there, and also the most infuriating.
Oh yeah. You were like, it felt like you were done with that room like really quickly when we couldn't figure out the second level.
And that's another thing about it, is that some of the rooms have multiple stamps you can get, and like usually it's like you just pick one path over the other and that's it. But potions is unique in how it builds off of itself. Like the way to unlock the next level is found after winning the first level, and then getting the third level is the same way. You get it from beating the second level. And I think that's super smart, and I hope that they do that in future rooms.
I just hope they keep this room for a long time.
Oh, they definitely will. Like, well, for one, it's a Boston original. Like, this one was a puzzle, because the company itself, I believe it's Swedish or German, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I believe, like one of 2 North American locations. Feel free to correct me in post, Jake, if that's wrong. Just throw it on the screen. But this is a puzzle that was designed like in the city. And I remember one of the times we went, one of the guys that we talked to, one of the employees, was surprised that they approved of it because he thought that it was so difficult. And I just really enjoyed the flow of it, because those aha moments are the things that really motivate you to keep going. And it got to the point where we pretty much were like, aside from a short break that we took to do a bunch of other rooms, we spent majority of the time trying to figure out potions. And so when we finally figured out level 2, it was such a big relief, and then we realized there's one more.
Yeah. Like,
and then it closed.
Like, there's so much to like about potions, and I think my favorite part of it is not just the theme of it being like a medieval fantasy sort of alchemy room that you're going through, but like everything kind of told a bit of a story as you were going through, which like we won't spoil just so like people can experience it firsthand. But I think we talked about the last time we brought up Göteborg, where like the greatest hint that we got for that room was to not think of it as a puzzle room, but to think of it as alchemy students solving a problem. And
like approach it as the character.
And like it really helps to look at like if you look at the stuff around the room, which like I don't think any of this is spoilers either, but like there's different ingredients around the room, and each of them are like very clearly... Well, this is the first room. In the first room, things are like very clearly like specific things and like kind of makes sense. Like I noticed that one of the symbols for something was like a droplet next to a heart, and if you look to the ingredient that like it's the container of the ingredient, it shows like a face carved into like a wooden bottle, so it kind of looks like, the way I interpreted, like lifeblood, which was very like thematic for being like magical. And there's like all these different like potion ingredients, and if you look at the list of ingredients, it like kind of fits like what that potion is supposed to represent based on like the pictures on the pages.
Yeah, and that's another little detail, just mentioning the actual like lists for the ingredients and stuff. There is so much in the first room that is important for the entirety of the run,
and
like it makes me so happy.
I will mention, as like I feel like there are 2 like
find the dragon picture, that's all I ask.
There were 2 cons to the room in like my personal opinion. One just straight up being that the reason we got stuck on level 2 wasn't because we weren't understanding it, it was because we were wrong mechanically as to like how we were to go about it. Which like kind of annoys me. It's kind of like when you're playing like any kind of game, like any kind of video game, and you're stuck on a puzzle because you don't know like the controls for it. Not because you can't like understand what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, because I mean, like the way we approached the room initially, like when we first asked for a hint, they just said, "Oh, just approach the second level the way you would the first," When we tried that, it didn't work out, but then they were like, oh, did you try doing this instead for your approach? And that was never necessary for the previous run.
Yeah.
Which kind of was a little annoying, but once we got over that hurdle and we got a rhythm going, things became easier.
And, like, another thing that I would point out is, like, a criticism that might not even be a valid criticism is, like, we focused on, like, so many different things in the first room because it is, like, a complete treasure trove of, like, clues for the rest of the puzzle and the other levels.
It's very dense.
But it's, like, there were some things that, like, I remember trying to figure out, like, what their use was that we never ended up using. And, like, we made it through Master, at least, like, up to the very end, when we were, like, figuring out, like, the very last puzzle of the final room, and then the place closed so we couldn't do it anymore. But
sadly.
But there were certain things in the first room that we basically never really ended up using. That, like, I won't get into for spoilers' sake, but yeah, like, yeah. I found it disappointing because I was, like, trying to piece together, like, oh, like, maybe we use them in this order to do this and that, but, like, none of it really ended up mattering. And we just end up going back to the stuff we used, like, the first go at it.
I still think, though, that the fact that it has that sort of, like, your initial thought is there's so much going on, so that, like, when it does narrow down to something simple, you can be like, oh, hell yeah, I figured it out. Like, I feel like there was a degree that we were looking at it, like, way too, like, aggressively. Like, aggressively just throwing ourselves at it and being like, that's not working, or being like, no, you didn't put your hand on at the right time, like, that kind of thing.
Like, I think we even mentioned it on, like, the way back from Vodaborg, that, like, there is so much stuff there that, like, even though there's only 3 levels to it, there could very easily be, like, 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's just, like, so much stuff to look at that can be, like, deciphered and taken apart and, like, all that kind of stuff. But, like, there's apparently only 3 levels.
I would adore if they've somehow included, like, a secret room, like a secret area that you can access after doing Master, and you get, like, a special stamp.
That would be great.
Like, I would love to have a room like that where they're, like, they have ones where it's branching paths, but it's not really. Like, for access denied and access granted, there's a crawl space that you can choose at the very beginning that determines what kind of path you're taking.
And then there's...
whether you're, like, defending against the hackers or are the hackers.
And then there's Quiz Show, where you can pick what, like, category you're going to be quizzed on at the beginning, and that theme, like, sticks along with all 3 rooms.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah?
Where's Athens?
You know what? You shut the fuck up.
Athens, Turkey.
Sounds like you need to shut the fuck up. Oh my god, they're not gonna get that.
No, they will not. That is old. But yeah, when we were in the middle of doing Quiz Show, I kept on saying, like, the dumb answers because, like, we kept on getting the repeat ones that we already knew.
No,
and it came up with, for, like, where is Athens located? And Greece was obviously there, and I was like, people have read Percy Jackson, they know what Greece is. And I was like, definitely Turkey. And I was like, 3, 2, 1, and I pressed Greece, Ryan pressed Greece, and Jake pressed a different button, and then we failed. And I was like, what happened? And you were like, I thought it was Turkey.
Oh, so that's your telling of the story.
No, because you were just like, no, you said it was Turkey, so it had to be Turkey.
No. You know what happened? We got to that room, you read it, and it's like, you know, whatever here's the thing. I didn't read the question because I'm a slow-ass reader, and you guys had been, like, yelling out the answers the entire time. So then we got to
Ryan kept on saying the joke answers. What's your point?
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, because we got to the room, the question was, like, about, like, where Athens was or wherever. You didn't say Turkey. You said blue. So what did I do? I pressed blue because we were all at different stations where the colored buttons were in different places. So you said blue, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I fucking
I'm gonna
said
press
turkey.
fucking blue. And I
I
pressed
totally
blue,
said
and then you guys are
turkey.
like, oh, look what happened.
I totally said turkey.
No.
Can't.
I swear
No.
to God, you said blue. I didn't read
I-
the question. I didn't even know, like, what we were answering. Like, you
Jake,
just
look,
shouted.
Look, Jake.
What?
Jake,
What?
is perfectly fine that you're incorrect, okay?
I'm not.
I fucking said turkey.
No, I swear to God.
The title of this episode is last episode of the podcast with like 5 question marks.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of this, we're just going to be bitter and just be like, so I'll send you my audio.
And then you and
Like-
Ryan were making fun of me, being like, oh, he thinks Athens is in Turkey. It's like, no, I didn't read the fucking question because I thought I could trust
well, maybe
you
if you
guys.
learned to read, you would understand.
I don't fucking care about... You guys, literally, the entire first room, I did absolutely nothing because you guys just got all the buttons. So I just
We were
stopped
really-
caring about the
we were
answers
making a-
at some point.
We were making a goof. We were saying goofy shit.
I didn't read it, and you guys just kind of started the countdown out of nowhere, so I'm like, oh, you guys said something, I'm gonna choose it, because I didn't read.
No, because that's literally like because the question right before that we said was like, where did the baguette originate? We're like, USA, obviously, 3, 2, 1, and everyone hit France.
No, that did
Yes.
not. No.
That's exactly what happened.
You guys started the countdown before I fucking read it, so I'm like, oh, okay.
You're
you
trying to
guys are saying
gaslight
something.
me, Jake.
You gaslit me.
No,
For
you're
saying
doing the
that I
same
thought
to me.
Athens was in Turkey.
I'm throwing out the Uno reverse card. Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
Anyways, there's other puzzles in this game.
Yeah, and some of them didn't cause drama and make Jake feel bad the rest of the day.
Yeah, and some of them made me actually feel the joy that I once had as a child. Ball call.
Yeah, there was a fucking ball pit.
There's a ball pit made of yoga balls. Jake, play the footage. Put the footage up.
Yeah, I'll play the footage I was told to get and then yelled at for not being in the ball pit.
Get your ass in here. Get over!
No, dude.
Get over! Jake, actually.
Yeah. it's great because I'm just like, Jake, where are you?
There is so much drama in this one episode.
Oh my god, yeah.
Taken
I
out of
told you this is
context, we had the worst fucking time at Bodeborg.
Yeah. Like, no, because literally, like, this was fucking hilarious. That was an amazing time. We did 10 rooms. We completed 10 rooms. It was great. Like, we had so much fun. There's the whole thing with, oh my god, with Spycatcher, where it was like, okay, we got a 50-50 shot. Korey, we're doing rock, paper, scissors. And I just picked the button and said, good job.
Dude, we haven't even brought up the drama from potions as one final note. When we were going through the third level, the master level, and we got to the third room, and then we had to completely restart because Ryan, who was with us, accidentally touched something and was like, I didn't think it'd be that sensitive.
Yeah.
So we had to
and
restart the
literally-
entire thing.
Yeah, and we knew the exact answer at that point, and we had to restart it, and if we didn't have to restart, we would have been able to complete it.
Like, we literally just hear the brrr, and we all look around, we're like, what just happened? And Ryan's like, I didn't think it'd be
He was
that
like,
sensitive.
I was just trying to practice.
I was just practicing.
Yeah, I thought I had to go like that, and that. And
Was that the time where we're like, okay, like, it's late, we have to go, and Ryan's like, I will buy you guys food.
Yeah, no, literally, he was just like, I will get you guys food, please. You have to let us do this. And
And then
I just
us,
looked at,
the two of us, of course, were like, are you serious about that?
yeah, no, I was like, you know, I'm having a little trouble with money right now. I mean,
like,
technically,
no, but like, really?
yeah, like you don't have to, but if you want to, you got a go-gurt out of it, and I paid for my own thing.
Wouldn't it be funny if you bought us food? but like, seriously though?
Yeah, that's like the equivalent of the Minecraft bed thing.
Yeah. But
It was like, what if you bought me a Happy Meal too? Haha, I'm just kidding.
Where am I?
yeah.
God, the peaks on my end are horrible. It's just
Anyway.
a donut.
So was it ball call? Or like
Ball call, so-
whatever it was.
This one, so in order to show the video, which we already have, that's a spoiler for the final room. Sorry, but
It's not. Here's a bigger spoiler. The final room's a ball pit.
damn it. but flat out, like the thing is that every other time that we've come and I've tried to do that room, we could never figure out the first one, and so we're like, fuck that, dude. I think it's broken. And then we got through like the first 2 rooms. They're super easy. And the moment that the door opened and I saw that giant pit full of yoga balls, my eyes lit up like Christmas. I just dived in.
Your eyes lit up because you instantly got pink eye.
I didn't care. I was just like the moment I saw that, and it was just like to remove objects from your pockets. I was like, oh god, it's going down.
Oh god, it's too late.
No, because like I dived in and like I didn't care about the solution. I just wanted to play around, and I threw a ball right at. I think it was either that you or Ryan, and you just collapsed like a sack of potatoes.
No,
it was hilarious.
Ryan fell like a sack of potatoes. You tried throwing a ball at me, it bounced right back and hit you in the face.
Yeah, and I fell backwards, and my feet were kicking up from underneath the balls.
You're like, take this, and I'm like, reverse card, and just fucking flat on your ass.
Yeah, it was like it looks like you fucking used the cancel card from Magic. You're just like, fireball. Nope. Like, oh my god, it was so much fun. Like, and then we actually figured out the solution and got the stamp at the very end. And I love how literally the like little title card, because each of the puzzles has a little card that gives you a hint on what the room's about.
Mm-hmm.
And the one for ball call was promptly exit the final room when you're done, because they know.
They know people are. We even joked around that, like, you should have, like, stayed in the ball pit for the next people to come, and then you're just like, help me, I'm drowning.
Yeah, I've been trapped.
I can't breathe.
Forever. Oh my god. I just get, like, war paint, and, like, when they're moving the balls, just scream.
Oh god.
Oh, man. But, yeah, no, anyone who is in the area of Boston, it's in Methuen, right? I think it's Methuen.
I don't think it is.
Let me see. I might be thinking. Okay, you know what? I'm thinking of Six Flags. Let me think of.
Yeah.
Okay, Borg. We are quickly going to be doing a search. So it's in Malden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Malden is where you need to go. Go to Borg. I recommend getting a day pass. That's $33, but for the amount that you pay, you get a lot out of it.
I think, like, the other pass is a 2-hour one for $22. Like, it's worth, like, paying the extra money to go for, like, a couple extra hours.
Yeah, I mean, we went, by the time we got there, it was around 12, and we stayed till 10.
Yeah.
So, like, definitely got our money's worth, and
to be fair,
we
did leave once to go get some pizza from a really nice pizza place, like, down the...
Pizza Pace.
Korey, I will slap you. There's a really nice, Pizza Palace down the street, that I don't know how to feel about it, because the food there is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And even, like, the prices are pretty decent.
I believe the place is literally called New York Pizza.
Yeah. Like, to me, it looks like a little bit... I don't even know, like, how to put it. Like, not, like, sketchy. It's definitely not, like, a fancy place at all.
It's a hole in the wall. It's pretty much a hole in the wall, but, like, it has quality stuff, which is the types of stuff that I really like. I like going to places like that.
It has a lot of character, because it has, like, the big fans blowing instead of, like, some kind of, like, AC. It has a lot of, like, paper signs, like, taped to the walls and things like that. Instead of, like, laminated.
Yeah. The thing that sucks, though, is that because of the heat of the pizza ovens and everything, when you get in there, it's like an oven. Like, the entire thing's an oven.
Yeah. And the place doesn't have, like, AC in it, so it's just, like, fans blowing hot air. But, like...
I like the food, though. I get the gyro, and it's very, very good. The girl that worked at the counter, she recognized me from last time, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And she even remembered that I got the same order.
Yeah.
So, like, that was neat. And, aside from that, like...
Aside from that, Ryan got a pizza.
Can we shame Ryan?
Yeah.
Can we shame Ryan?
Ryan got a pizza and ate it with a fork and knife because he thought it was too... I don't even know, like, what... Why did
he said that it would fall apart the moment that he picked it up last time. Which, I mean, to be fair, when he picked it up the last time, it was immediately when he got the pizza?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he got a bigger sized pizza, which had, like, bigger, longer slices.
And I'm pretty sure... Didn't it have toppings on it?
I don't think it did, but, like, still.
I remember he split it with Ethan.
No, he split it with me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you and Ethan got like separate like things. But at the end, when like we were finishing up, Ryan didn't want like his last slice, so he gave it to me. I just picked it up perfectly fine.
Yeah,
and
no,
he was
that
still
was
eating
so
with a fork
fucking
and
funny.
knife. Like he just committed. Like even if he like realized it wasn't going to be too messy, he just gave up. He's like, I've already sinned. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, I told him flat out to, like, when he brings back, like, the platter and everything, to say, like, that's the best pasta I've ever had. Man, but, yeah, Ryan, if you hear this episode of podcast, learn how to eat pizza.
We know
I
you're
get
in
it, you
Japan,
only
like, you forget some things, but, like,
Yeah.
pizza is meant for your hands.
Yeah, put down those chopsticks and pick up the pizza. Like, oh, man. But, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I got the gift back. Well, I got a gift from Ryan. Multiple gifts from Ryan. From Japan.
Yeah.
One of them's a pretty cool keychain of like a character from a show I like. The other one is like this little plastic figure of cat. And the other thing I am uncomfortable with owning.
Yeah.
But I requested it because I thought it would be funny. And now it's not as funny because I have it.
And now you can't complain.
Yeah.
You literally asked for it.
I know. But like, hey, you know what? I mean, for context for anyone who listens to it. So I flat out told Ryan to find the most messed up comic he could. And when I said messed up, I was hoping for horror. Like, because there's some really cool horror comic or like manga. That's manga. Manga artists over in Japan. I mean, Junji Ito, if you want like a really good artist. In fact, Jake, could you throw up like some pictures, I guess, like a little slideshow of some Junji Ito
Sure.
type? Like, I fucking love their style. I was hoping for something creepy like that, but Ryan thought I meant porn.
I mean, yeah, that can get pretty messed up. It can even include horror.
Yeah, but like I didn't. I like. It's just in my closet, and I don't like it.
It's just you saying you asked.
Yeah, no, you want to know I think the part that's really funny to me is that Ryan has offered to take it off my hands.
I've offered to take it off your hand.
Yeah, but like, see, the thing is that you know what? I'm committed at this point. I complained a little bit there, but you know what? I'm committed.
Like you asking for something messed up and then saying that you're uncomfortable owning it is like going on the Fear Factor and being like, oh, I can't do this. It's too scary.
Yeah.
It's like what did you sign up for?
Yeah, you go onto the Fear Factor forum, you don't write bugs or heights, you write dogs and like eating a healthy meal and my father and things like that. You put on things that are like, you know, like, okay, you gotta put on things that you can't get scared of, but like make it sound like so that people could have legitimate fears. Like I would put down, if I had to go on Fear Factor, I'd say cats, because I fucking love cats, but like I could easily play that up.
Have you seen Fear Factor?
Yes, I have.
There are certainly things people put down that they're like actually afraid of.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's that, like, who was that girl where she had to, like, grab a very specific, it was, like, I think it was a flag out of these different boxes, and in one of them it had tarantulas, one of them had cockroaches, and, like, one of the cockroaches came out on her hand.
One episode that, like, I remember hearing about was, there was like I don't think I ever saw it, but like I heard about it as like a fucked up episode where like people had to like dig through like cow intestines or something, and then they had to like rip them open and then like suck like stuff out of them and then spit them into like glasses or containers or whatever, and it's like there's no way people aren't like completely disgusted by that. Like,
yeah,
like on some level, like they have to be disgusted, even if it's like fake. Just like the mental idea of it has to be like repulsing.
I'm okay. I don't know why, but like since you mentioned Fear Factor, I'm remembering like a bunch of like competition shows I used to watch. Have you ever heard of a competition show called tHiS?
I don't think so.
Oh my god, it was so good. So, tHiS, it only had one season, and it's based off of like a Japanese like show. It's kind of like the whole thing for I Survived a Japanese Game Show.
Oh yeah.
If you ever seen that, where like, you know, they take the show or whatever. Well, but that was still filmed in Japan. tHiS was an adaptation where essentially it was, they took a city and made it into a giant virtual reality game where contestants would run around, do mini games, and like try to get codes and clues and stuff. Well, they constantly have these people like going around like essentially hunting them. And each of like the sort of bad guys have like a certain trait. Like one of them was really athletic and could like run super fast. The other person was smart and could break locks that the contestants could set up. But like my favorite thing from that show is that literally there were items that people could use where there's a spray where if they spray it in front of them, if that like the person is chasing them, they have to freeze for like 10 minutes and they can't like move or whatever. They also have glasses to show them hidden entrances, I guess, where it would be like certain areas, depending on where they are, they would like pull back curtains and stuff so people could run through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And like the whole thing is you're trying to find this one point where all this money is, and I liked that show a lot. But the one that I liked more, and these were both on Sci-Fi, and I just love the theme. I love the way that it worked. Have you heard of A State of Panic?
No.
I feel like you might like it. So the whole thing, like that like the main concept of it is greed versus safety. So contestants enter the room, and the room is filled with money. Like money everywhere. And they just need to go in, collect as much money as they can, and don't be the last person out. The last person out, the person who is the only one left in the room is eliminated. And then the person who has the least amount of money in like the lobby, like when they are all like out, they are voted off. It's a pretty simple concept, but then you look at the rooms itself. Like, for example, there was an episode where one of the rooms was a kitchen. And in the kitchen, there are like sort of rotten turkeys that have hundreds of dollars in them, but there's maggots all over them too. So people would have to dig through the gross stuff. Of course, there's safe stuff where it's like, you know, you see like $1 or $5 in like places easy, like cans and shelves and things like that. But the money, like the more valuable like money that you can pick up is in the gross stuff. And then as an added challenge, the floor of the room, it was oobleck, like that weird sort of liquid solid thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like normal tile floor until the contestants stepped on it. And so it like hindered their progress and stuff. Or another example is there was I believe it was a study, and the ceiling was slowly like coming down and crushing things. And while it was crushing things, there were these cases, I think glass cases, of different bugs, like scorpions and tarantulas and stuff like that. And those were like, the walls were coming down so they can jump off and like run around on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to do that show and I got that room, I would fucking cry.
You would just immediately move on.
No, because literally, I would be like, you know what, $2? That's fine. They can get me a hamburger somewhere. Let's go.
Oh, $2? Oh, wait, there's a spider on it? Okay, I don't need $2 anyway.
Yeah, you know what? Gas money? I can ask my dad. Like,
I'll just ride the bike from now on.
Oh my god. No, because that's two things I hate. Scorpions and fucking claustrophobia. Like, that's one thing, actually, I guess, to go back to Bodeborg for a real quick second. There are crawl spaces that are pretty small that you have to like go up and down and stuff like that. I am not good at small spaces.
I had a feeling you hated Alcatraz.
Alcatraz was difficult for me.
Yeah,
because after that crawl space up, then you had to go through that tube, and I was like, I don't know if you heard me, and I was like, oh fuck that, like as we were crawling through.
But like there is like a vertical part to Alcatraz where you have to climb up this like it's like 3x3 wide like tube going up.
Yeah, and it's like the two triangles going up like kind of like a zigzag motion.
Yeah, because there's like these planks sticking out of like the like a single corner of it, and then you have to like climb up these like alternating planks, and like it's completely dark as well, by the way. Like which
is great for me.
Yeah, it's like complete darkness with like nothing really helping like guide you except like whatever you can feel around for. Not to mention the fear of kicking the people below you.
Yeah, which is why like whenever we did those tubes, I was a little upset that Ryan was like, I'm gonna go first, because I was like, I need out.
Like I hated going first because I'm like, I feel like if I move my foot down like even an inch, I'm going to be kicking someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I enjoyed going last the first time I went, and then this time it's like, okay, Jake, keep going, go, and I'm like, oh fuck, I've gotta hurry.
Like, I'll tell you what the worst room was. Not this time that we went, but the last time with Ethan, when we did fucking Platoon over and over.
Oh.
That crawl space, I hate it.
Oh, don't forget Spook House.
Spook House, where like the only thing that scared me in Spook House was the crawl space.
Because that like it's literally just like that is the transition from one room to another is a crawl space through.
Yeah,
like,
it's a crawl space, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like I sat out from that because the thing is that all the other crawl spaces were very short. They were very quick, like easy to get through.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that one wants to stretch forever.
What about rats? That's basically like a giant crawl space.
Okay, rats, I can understand though, because like the whole thing with the, well, okay, see, this is my my main thing is that rats, the first room with like the way that it has the crawl space and then that open bit, that's different compared to just having a straight like crawl space.
Mm-hmm. And then like we remember when we were in like the, I don't even know like what to call it. There's like what's it called? There's like a relaxation area in like the like first floor of the place, and
the lobby.
Yeah, the lobby, and
no running.
And we were like waiting there, and there was a poster on one of the walls for like a place at one of the other locations. I'm assuming over in Europe, and it was literally called like claustrophobia.
Yeah, no, and I was just like, that is a hard no for me,
it said
young man.
Like claustrophobia, and it looked like the like catacombs or something, which I'm like assuming that would be like your worst fear, to feel like you're in like these tight catacomb like tunnels that you're crawling through.
Jesus, like that would terrify me. Like that's awful. See, I like the one that you pointed out, the other one with it was a forest. It was nice and there's trees, and I'm fine with that.
I'm not claustrophobic, but there's only been one time where I've been in like a tight space and been like a little bit afraid. Cause I was out on a hike because I used to be a Boy Scout.
I used to be a Boy Scout.
We were like
my camp. I don't know what it's called. I was going to be like, my camp counselor told me never to tell my parents.
We were going on this hike that was up this like kind of like a large hill, small mountain kind of area, and one of the places we had to go through to like make it through this like hiking trail, I guess you could call it, is we had to go into this like tunnel that was in the hill, and the way you got through it was there was this giant crack in it, and on one side was like a ledge that like the only way I can compare it, you know, in like Zelda when you have to like press your like back against the wall and kind of like side scroll like over to the other side of the wall. We basically had to do that through the middle of a mountain where in front of us was a giant ledge into darkness.
Nope.
While we have, like, our backpacks of, like, camping gear. Like, it looked terrifying. Realistically, the gap was, like, so narrow, chances are, like, you wouldn't even be able to, like, fit down there. But it looks terrifying. Like, you can flash, like, your flashlight down there, and it's just, like, a very steep, like, bottom that's, like...
Like, you drop a coin down there, you never hear it again.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, it looked terrifying when it really wasn't that dangerous, but that didn't really help. But that's not where I felt claustrophobic. Because later on, this, like, hill had, like, a bunch of big, like, crumbled rocks that, like, you'll just kind of find around New Hampshire and, like, a lot of New England, just, like, big piles of rocks. And there was one part of it where the easiest way to get through this, like, giant wall of, like, boulders, basically, was to get down low and crawl through a tunnel that was made out of giant cobblestone, like, boulders, basically.
Nope.
And you had to crawl, like, not, like, you know, on, like, your arms and knees or anything. No, you had to crawl on your stomach through these rocks that were, like, scraping against your back.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. See, because, okay, this...
And, like,
this
when
is
you're
where
in the
my
middle
fear-
of it, like, when you're in the middle, like, it's not like, oh, like, once you get, like, you know, your, like, head on the other end, like, your feet are still sticking on the other side. Like, no. Like, you are completely underneath. And there's, like, a point where you're like, this could just crumble and I just, like, die immediately. And, like, yeah.
No, because that's the main thing that my fear comes from, is that idea of whatever I'm crawling underneath will collapse.
Yeah.
Like, even, like, with Bodeborg, like, everything's very structurally sound. It has to be. There's so many people that go through it every day. But, like, the thing is that there's still that innate fear of, like, the walls coming down, the beams failing or whatever, and I just fall or get crushed.
Like, for me,
Like-
in places like Bodeborg, like, I am, like, aware enough of the safety precautions that, like, I don't worry about it. And it's the same way I
Yeah.
don't worry about, like, being on roller coasters, because I know of all the safety regulations they have to go through. But, like, when you're hoping that the structural integrity of a bunch of crumbled rocks don't fail on you that weren't man-made, like, then you're like, But, like,
That's
what
just-
if they did?
I just don't enjoy because it's just, again, when you say that with roller coasters, though, is that, like, there's always, like, I always get in the cart that has the wiggly bar and I get fucking scared. Because, like, think of it that way, like, one bad drop and Korey's gone. I fire off like a bullet and that's it. Like,
One time I got scared was, you know those rides where, like, they lock you in and then it just shoots you, like, straight up before you fall back down?
yeah.
I was in one of those, but, for some, like, I hear one of the loud, like, gas chambers or whatever the thing just go, and I'm like, wait, why is this still loose? Why is this still loose?
No, that's the worst thing, is that, like, sometimes they're too tight and other times they're not tight enough. And then you
Exactly.
feel like you're going to slide out, and it's just like, that's why they,
Or, like, you
as
try to, like,
uncomfortable as
tighten
this-
it onto yourself, but, like, it kind of stops, like, halfway, and you're like, is this a failure that's going to kill me? And then, like, someone comes by and fixes it for you, and you're like, oh.
No, as uncomfortable as they are, I think every ride that has, like, any kind of bar or anything needs to have the protective, like, plastic crotch thing. As much as those are, like, the worst, they also, like, guarantee that you are not going to move.
Exactly.
Like, I'd rather be mildly uncomfortable down there than just, like, fly off
Like,
and have the last thing that I see be the fucking Six Flags logo
The-
as I fall to the ground.
though, to be fair, like, they are kind of uncomfortable, but places should try their best to accommodate for, not falling onto them and having it, jab into your, crotch. Because
Yeah.
that's very painful. That's
Yeah, it
more
is very
painful than
painful.
discomfort.
Like, make it padded, I guess. I don't know. I just don't...
Padded or, like, further up, maybe, so that, like,
Yeah.
you don't accidentally, like, shift, like, an inch. stab
Or you can just
yourself.
delete the ride. Delete the ride. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's how I feel about safety, I guess.
We got on there from claustrophobia.
Okay, this is something I briefly mentioned to Gungeon earlier.
Mhm.
But I also, since we mentioned like the Parsec that we were testing things with that, you've been playing a lot more Gungeon lately.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the game now that you have actually like a bit more experience of going through like some of the different levels and unlocking new guns and things like that? Because I've gone off about why this is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
The thing is with me when it comes to Gungeon is I think it's a good game, but it's definitely not my kind of go-to game because I'm not a fan of roguelikes. I feel like they use RNG just a little bit too much, especially for like most roguelikes are RPGs in the sense that like you kind of build up your character and have a particular, build to it. Like with Gungeon, depending on the guns you get or the active ability or passive abilities, you can like basically build your own kind of character in a way. But with roguelikes, it's all randomized what you get, so you can't really build it. You kind of just have to go off of pure luck and chance that you get what you want for a particular run.
It's all about being adaptive at the end of the day, is at least for Gungeon, because there are certain things that you can influence, such as if you buy an item in the breach before you go into the Gungeon itself, it's guaranteed to spawn at least once during your run in one of the chests.
You can, but like even those are like randomized.
Yeah, that's randomized. And then even from there, like I think the whole idea of the game is just to like get familiar with a bunch of different weapons, and like you could have your favorites, you can have your least favorites, but then with the ones that you don't like, there's the gun muncher, there's the shop creep, those types of things where you can just like, I know that shop creep is not its official name because it's actually like that green guy's a boss, and someday I want to do that boss fight with you because it actually leads to one of my favorite areas, like bonus areas in the game. But
yeah, it's just that for me it feels like an RPG where you can't like choose to build your own character.
Yeah,
like I
get that.
Like I prefer RPGs and like the way they do it in say The Witcher, where you can kind of choose your own talent build and you can aim for a very specific kind of build for whatever playthrough you're going through. I know, I did that very intentionally.
Jeez, hitting that quota.
But yeah, like you can build it that very specific and detailed way for it to suit your kind of play style that you want to go for that particular run. But for me with roguelikes, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you're gonna get this, you're gonna be thrown that. Oh, you wanted this like really high quality gun? Well, we're just not gonna give you the chest for that, and you're never gonna get it. Or
yeah.
There
are some weapons that I have not seen since my like very first initial playthroughs, which I mean, if anything, that's probably because I keep on destroying like the brown and blue chests. Like, I should honestly do runs where I just open every chest I can, or do every challenge I can, because there is a good chance that I will get weapons or like unlock items or passives or things like that, like that I've never used before, and maybe I'll find a new favorite one.
And I think like part of where my opinion comes from is like I've played enough of the game to know that like between the passive abilities that will like increase your speed or do damage to things that you like run nearby to, or I remember there was a I don't even know what it's called, like an altar that like I like sacrificed a heart to. And
yeah, you gain damage.
Yeah, I gain damage, and it absorbs the health of enemies near me, and replenishes any empty like hearts that I have. And I'm thinking like, oh, that would all like work really well in like a build about like circling around enemies to like help kill them while I shoot at them. But all of that is completely randomized in the base game.
That's why I feel like you would enjoy. There's a fan sort of extension of the game called Mod the Gungeon, which would let you create a specific build.
Yeah.
Like, you can give yourself certain items, you can have the floors spawn certain things, like, you can spawn enemies if you want to test things out. Like, it gives you a lot of freedom, and I personally, like, because the way I approach the game is I have the Switch version, which is the one that I'm trying to beat 100% legit, like, you know, do everything the way it's meant to be. Like, you know, beat the Resourceful Rat, beat the Lich, like, all of the main bad guys, like, as 100% legit as I possibly can, which is, you know, the only way to do it on Switch, because there's no such thing as Mod the Gungeon on the Switch. The PC version, I'm allowing myself to fuck around.
Yeah.
Like, I've done builds where I only give myself like the Guan stones, which are like these little orbiters that go around you, and some of them have different effects. And so I gave myself a bunch of the orange ones, and I played as the Marine, where the Marine's sort of firearm, it does the same amount of damage as all of those like little orange gunstones or Guan stones, and it was able to melt bosses fast. And I had a lot of fun with that. But honestly, I'd say next time, Jake, that we play, put Mod the Gungeon on your game, and then spawn in some items for us to mess around with.
Alright.
Because if anything, you could give yourself like the bonus items, like in the different statuses, like that whole the Blood Altar one. But yeah, I think that would be actually something for us to experiment and maybe talk about next episode.
We could. And then
I'm
could
going to be
record
surprised.
footage of that for next time.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised if we don't find at least one build that you're really like a big fan of.
Except, let's not forget that next episode we have to remember to watch and review The Princess Bride.
We never said the review would be this episode. So
You've
we're
been
putting
saying
it
that
up.
since before we recorded. I have no idea what you're talking about. We mentioned that we would be reviewing it not the episode after, but the episode after that.
Look, I don't listen to our podcast, okay?
I do, because I edit it. And not to mention, you're part of the podcast too, so you don't even have to
Yeah, but
listen to it.
I don't pay attention.
But, like, yeah, we said we would be reviewing it next episode. So I don't know
Look.
what you're talking about, but I'm not mentioning it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, I skipped over the political rant last episode, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that detail.
And it was also in the little text that I put up, but, you know, whatever.
Well, I can't read either. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Pixel Venture podcast. I guess I've been Korey. I don't know, man.
And we're still reminding people of who they've been listening to for an hour. I'm Jake.
Well, we're keeping with the theme. I'm sorry.
We've changed.
First, you have a problem with how I
we
played
have changed the
Overcooked.
themes so much in the podcast.
Okay, should we make something consistent then?
I mean, we've been consistent with The Witcher.
That's all we have. Is that another tally mark,
we've
or are we
kept the
doing
heads
one
the
episode?
same.
I mean, what if we like updated like the complete look to be completely different for like the last minute of this, like while we're ranting about this, and then we never go back?
You know what? If you want to redo the heads, then go right ahead.
Nah, I'm lazy.
There you go.
See you guys.
See ya.
Jake, I swear to God, if you make a fool of me in front of the audience again, I will end you. The podcast will be deleted. Kiss.